Hello. Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whatever time of day it is. What we have here is a 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis. It was purchased 5 years ago, and it had a noise in the engine. 600 bucks was given for it. It was no noise in the engine. It was actually a broken fin on the cooling fan. It was replaced, and the car had 128,000 when it was purchased. It's right at 160,000 now. It was driven around for a while, just as a beater car. Had fun with it. This is a 2003 Grand Marquis, which is not supposed to have the P71 options. This one has the P71 options. Has the staggered rear, front and rear wheels. Gives it a wider stance. If Josh will show you that, we'll close the door. Josh can show it to you from a front view what we mean by that.
They got a little poke.
Huh?
They got a little poke.
Yeah. 327 locker rear was installed. Aluminum drive shaft. P71 front coilovers were installed in the front. And it was, Josh, come over to the other side. It was hit in a parking lot. And the insurance company totaled the car over that.
Oof.
And it looks very much like a drive-by-feel car. So I stopped driving it. I don't drive by feel, and I don't like people thinking I do. And it's been sitting out behind the shop, as you can tell from the layer of smoosh on it. But we've been collecting parts and pieces. This is the biggest reason. See the gap? It has moved that entire quarter panel. That's why they totaled it. Plus it's near the filler. And it is harder to put gas in it now. So we've been collecting pieces and parts, and I have seen plenty of them on my Facebook feed. And seen guys doing them, and I'm going to give it a try. I have a 66 Ford Ranch Wagon body. Sold the engine out of it, had some frame issues, but the body's pretty intact, except floor pans, they're gone. So we're thinking about taking that Ranch Wagon, right Josh? Mm-hmm. And we're going to put it on this frame.
You said what? 2-door, right? Four-door.
No, it's a 4-door Ranch.
No, you're going to cut it to a 2-door.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a 2-door. Well, not really cut it. I don't know. We won't know until we get the body back over here. This is shorter wheelbase than the Ranch Wagon. So I'm going to have to make the Ranch Wagon body shorter somehow. And I've been noodling it and thinking about it, and I hurt my brain. So now it's time of stop drawing pictures and stop thinking about it to just do it. The problem is when we went to pull this into the shop, the last time we moved it around outside, the trans acted funny. Yay. Now the transmission is not functioning. It has reverse.
Reverse only. As you can see,
we backed it onto the
backed it on the lift.
So we're going to have some trans work done. Relatively not hateful to have one of these built. And again, we're going to take the trans off the engine once we get the body off the car to be easier. I think for today, if we can get a majority of the plastic salad off of it. These hoods are aluminum, guys. So when you're scrapping one of these, don't throw the hood away with the metal. You can get more money for it as an extruded sheet aluminum. So make sure you do that.
Yeah, you can make your own version of the Stabbin Wagon.
We're going to make something. It's cool. I mean, good oil pressure. The car was very fun to drive because, again, it's got 327 lockers instead of the factory 279s or 308s or whatever's in it from the factory. It has 327s out of a police interceptor, and it'd be great if it had 355 lockers. They're very hard to find. Texas cars have those. Those Texas Crown Vics have them. I have never seen them in junkyards around here. I do look occasionally, don't I, Josh, when we're at the Vic Park.
Oh, you look for a little bit of everything at the Vic Park.
But it's a frame car, and apparently on these unibody swaps, now some guys may comment on this that say they're harder than a unibody car. I don't know. I think it would be a little easier to do a frame swap once you get all the salad off of it. Salad, I mean fenders, doors.
And speaking of pick apart, we've had some good luck here recently at pick apart.
Yeah,
we
man.
triggered some rednecks.
Some Corvette guy.
We stole their Muncie.
We didn't steal it. They showed up. They showed up and it was getting ready to close, and there was a C3 in there with a Muncie in it. And they started to take it out, but then the place closed. And I guess we came earlier than they did the next day. I saw it there, and
They came up to me like a whimpering dog as I'm tearing into
I
it.
had an M21. I got an M21 out of the deal. I'm missing the shifter. I've got a C3 Corvette project in the queue. That's going to be brought to the shop. But this gets this out of the yard, so I don't get the questions. Does that run? Gets this out of the yard. And
It runs, but it doesn't drive.
well, I don't know. I haven't yet to check the trans fluid this morning. The trans fluid should have drained back, and I should have some in the pan now to see what it looks like. To me, the forward clutches are gone. It's cooked. See the brown? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's done. Well, we could do a pick in the poke. We could go to the pick apart. We could find one that we know's wrecked, because we can see the wreck, and we can make the presumption that the motherfucker drove to the accident. So that's a good trans. But these transes, and I talked to some people about them last night, and if you let them sit too long, the lip seals can get hard, and it's obviously been leaking. The car was parked ass down a hill, a little bit of an incline. You can tell fluid was leaking out of the rear seal. So obviously the tranny is done. So we'll either get a rebuilt one put in it, or we'll find a good used one to stick it in it. Either way, we want to, electronic and fuel injected, 4-wheel disc brake, four-wheel disc brake,
Coilover
automatic,
suspension.
Coilover front suspension, in a 66 ranch wagon is just too fucking cool. And we're gonna try it. The worst thing we can do is fail and just didn't sell all the pieces. Legitimately, I have $1,500 invested in this car originally, and then I drove it around. I put 30-some thousand miles on this car. I drove it to Florida twice. Drove it to
You
Myrtle
got your
Beach.
value out of it,
Yeah,
I'd say
I paid
that.
$600 for the car. Had to put a cooling fan in it. Got that from Pick Apart. Used one. It's electric fan. It's had its little bugaboos, the hood release. Cable broke, so I had to have that.
This is custom right here.
I used to keep this in the side, and we showed me go get them.
This is custom right here.
As electricians, we always have these, us Sparkies. See, they're no good for, well, they're still kind of good.
Well, I mean, you got
I just keep these.
a different size gauge wire stripper on
So
it
I
now.
just keep these inside that, pull that up, and it's good for opening up beer. This is the 1966 Ford Ranch Wagon. It was a 4-door station wagon based off of what car, Josh?
The Galaxy?
Very good. Based off the Galaxy. It's got a Galaxy front end up to the A-pillars, from the A-pillars back, it's station wagon, ranch wagon. This was actually owned by a funeral parlor. It was a casket car, which was kind of cool. We'd go pick up the cadavers from their final place of death and take them to the mortician funeral parlor.
That explains this raised up part in the back.
Well, that's standard.
Oh, okay.
But it explains the holes drilled in the top for the funeral parlor's sign. They always have their little sign on top of the car with their name on it. On top. And this car was special ordered. I already sold it off of it, but this car came from the factory ordered disc brakes on the front, which was a option that the 7 liters
had standard when you got a 7-liter Galaxy. You got the disc brakes up front. I'm curious, since it has that option, if it has the 31 spline 9-inch. We're gonna find out once we get the body off the frame.